Animals are a huge issue for me. I rescue everything I possibly can off the street. I've been fostering for years. I'm doing all I can do. But obviously the problem is not getting better, and the lead shelter, Animal Foundation, isn't really doing a good job either. In fairness, I understand it's not their fault those animals wind up on their doorstep, but on the other hand, they're doing a lot of underhanded things that people aren't happy about. They're not playing straight with folks, and that's what's frustrating a lot of people like Bryce Henderson. He's the president of No Kill Las Vegas. Bryce, welcome back to the Heidi Harris Show.
Hi, Heidi. Thanks for having me on.
I saw you out at the Pet Expo yesterday, and you were telling me that the people at the Animal Foundation, they had a booth, and folks were claiming that they were saying they don't kill animals there?
Yes, we had a booth there. People were signing a petition to get rid of the Animal Foundation. We got about 1,000 signatures. And people were coming up to us saying they were just at the Animal Foundation booth, and they were told that the Animal Foundation doesn't kill animals.
Great.
You know, they killed almost 16,000 last year, so I don't know how they're telling people that they're not killing animals.
Now, let's back up a little bit, because they might be saying, well, the Animal Foundation is separate from the lead shelter. Explain to people who don't understand how the Animal Foundation works in conjunction with the lead shelter, because they claim they're private. On the other hand, they want tax dollars. How does that work?
They try to confuse the public. I think the important thing to remember is the lead animal shelter and the Animal Foundation is the exact same thing. The lead animal shelter is actually just a building that the Animal Foundation built. It sits on the city's property that they rent from the city for $1 a year, but it's all one and the same. So when you hear lead and you hear all about things about lead, you're really just hearing about the Animal Foundation.
Now, they also take taxpayer dollars, obviously, and they have the contract to pick up all of the animals in the county. That's what people need to know. That's, sick, injured, abandoned, whatever. That's what they do.
Sure, and we understand, they're an open admission shelter. They're only an open admission shelter for Clark County and the city of Vegas and North Las Vegas. So they do have to pick up all the animals, but that's still no excuse why you kill animals when you have empty kennels. When you have empty cat kennels and you put them down anyway, there's no excuse for that when they're healthy and adoptable.
Now, I know that the numbers are way down from the intake, and many people attribute that to the fact that now technically you're supposed to have everything over 4 months of age, spayed or neutered, and there's a lot more compliance only because literally animal control can knock on your door if they find your unspayed animal. So that's helped a little bit, but still we need to get those numbers down.
Absolutely, and I think we're getting the word out that it is a kill shelter, because I've talked to so many people that have taken their loving pets there thinking the Animal Foundation will take care of it and find it a good home. They don't realize that there's a 50% chance that their animal was killed. So the more we talk to people and say don't take your animals there, that's going to help lower the intake as well.
Yeah, that would help. Now, my whole thing is that I used to work at the Animal Foundation, as you know, many years ago. So I've seen this firsthand like you have. I understand what goes on. I was in tears every day, and I had to get out of the shelter business. I just couldn't take it. And I know it's hard. So when you have animals that come in who aren't adoptable, animals who might be sick, animals who sit there for a long time, there are only so many homes. So I understand a certain amount will probably have to be killed, as much as I can't stand it. But you've told me that there are other places in the country where the main municipal shelter is practically no kill. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Correct. Reno is a great example right here in the great state of Nevada. They're one of the leaders in this new movement that's called the no-kill movement. And it doesn't mean that we save all the animals, but you can reach no-kill status if you save 90%. And in Reno, they're saving 95%, and they're an open admission shelter just like here in Vegas. And they do it because, they work harder, they try harder, they really care what they're doing. To them, it's not just collecting a paycheck. So they use all of their kennels. Here at the Animal Foundation, they have 200 cat kennels, and the director says she'll only put 100 cats out there because that's enough to choose from. That's not the type of mentality we want of someone running our shelter. So in Reno, they do tons of different things, different programs that you won't find here at the Animal Foundation because they just don't care enough. LA saves 80%, Washington, D.C. saves 85%. Ventura County now has gone no-kill. The entire county saves 90% more of their pets. So it can be done anywhere in any type of community, and there's no reason why we can't do it here in Vegas.
We're speaking with Bryce Henderson. He's the president of No Kill Las Vegas. I know that there has been talk, and there have actually been occasions around the country where small dogs have been shipped to places like New York City and those kind of things where there's a huge demand for small dogs because of apartment living. Does the Animal Foundation ever do anything like that and work with those kind of organizations? Because the main problem, as you know, with the shelters, pit bulls and chihuahuas.
Absolutely. And in places like Canada, in the Northeast, they don't have a lot of Chihuahuas. And so nonprofits here, rescue groups in Vegas, Puppy, and A Home for Spot have been networking to ship those dogs to places where they don't have that many Chihuahuas and they're in high demand. That's not something the Animal Foundation has been initiating, although they're trying to take some credit for it now. But it was really the rescue groups that came up with this idea, and it's a great idea, and we should expand upon it.
Well, to quote my veterinarian, who's been my vet for almost 30 years, he said, listen, you can't kill your way out. You can't adopt your way out. What you have to do is you have to stop these animals from being born. And we've got to continue to provide awareness. And now, does the Animal Foundation have a no-cost spay or neuter clinic attached to it? I should know this answer. I'm sorry, I don't. Do they have that attached to their building? Or low-cost?
They do offer low-cost spay or neuter. However, if you can afford it, I would take your dog to your vet. We've heard so many horror stories about dogs coming out with sutures coming undone. They run them through like an assembly line. And if you can afford it, I know not everyone can, but it's not too expensive now even to go to your own vet. I recommend taking your dog to your own vet to get it done. You're going to have a lot more care put into your animal. And obviously, if you're taking them to get spayed or neutered, I'm sure you care about them.
Well, that's true. And let's be honest, getting your cat or dog spayed or neutered is cheaper, really, than raising one litter of puppies and kittens. I don't care how early you get rid of them. I saw a lady at the Pet Expo yesterday walking around with a puppy, looked like a pit bull mix, 5 weeks old. And I said, where did you get, I was so upset. I said, where did you get this puppy? Oh, well, I said, how old is it? Oh, 5 weeks old. And how did you get, well, the people said the puppy was ready to go. I said, what? The puppy's not ready to go for at least 3 more weeks. And this is the kind of ignorance, Bryce, that we're constantly trying to fight against.
Absolutely. But I want to talk to you about a story that is going to be on Fox tonight. I know many of your viewers have probably seen the promos. They've been running it all weekend. You mentioned at the beginning about shady practices at the Animal Foundation, and this is one of them. They have a history of selling animals out the back door, the high-value animals, exotic birds, high-value puppies, like some French Bulldog puppies that you're going to hear about. Those don't ever hit the adoption floor. And why the community is so mad about this is, like you mentioned, this is our tax dollars going into this shelter. And everyone should have equal opportunity to adopt the animals. They shouldn't be taking in the high-value ones and selling them out the back door to their friends, to their donors. This is our shelter, and they're treating it like it's their personal pet store.
That's true. I remember when I worked with Mary Hero, the same kind of thing would go on when she was running the place. The donors got first pick. If it was some purebred thing or whatever, that's where they went.
You're going to hear about it all tonight because we caught them red-handed. I'm a friend. The animals love me, and little birdies talk to us all the time. And we've got some birdie friends that work at the Animal Foundation, and they have given us internal emails that show where these French Bulldog puppies get. So their director of fundraising gets caught on camera tonight, and he has to admit that, yes, if we get a high-value animal, I'm going to give it to my donor. And he does it so brazenly. He says that's what we're going to do. Like, these are our pets, and we're going to do whatever we want with them.
Well, on the one hand, I understand that they technically aren't their pets. On the other hand, what difference does it make? If a Bulldog puppy or whatever comes in, I don't want that dog to spend one more second in a cage than it has to. And if I know that my donor is going to give that dog a good home, why do I care where the dog goes? I want the dog out of that shelter.
Well, and you brought up a good point. One of the French Bulldog puppies sat there for 80 days while they looked for that special person to take the pet. Because I have a feeling there's a little more going on than what we really know.
Yeah.
When the donor gets the pet, there's a wink and a nod. There'll be a donation coming in soon. So this French Bulldog puppy sat there for 80 days because they wanted to use it for a special event.
That's disgusting.
It is. And it took up resources, and the puppy could have been in a loving home. It could have, and if you put a French Bulldog puppy out in the kennel, it'll be gone in 2 hours. So, these puppies were going to find homes one way or the other. Let's just have it done in an open, honest way.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, at the very least, take the dog home. I'll tell you a funny story, Bryce. We're speaking with Bryce Henderson from No Kill Las Vegas. Many years ago, when I worked at the Animal Foundation, there was a lady that used to come in every single day looking for a Benji-type little dog. She wanted a puppy, okay? Every day she came in to see me. And so finally we had one that was about 3 months old that somebody brought in. So they got it spayed. I took it home that night to make sure she got it, because I knew that if it got put in that cage, between the time the dog got put in the cage in the morning and the time that lady got there, that the dog would be gone. So I literally took the dog home into my house for the night, brought the dog back to work in the morning, kept it on my lap until this lady came in the morning to get the dog. I mean, call that unethical? I don't think so, because the lady had been looking for months. So that's what I did.
Sure, and you were just offering good customer service, it sounds like.
Right, because she was such a sweet lady, and she'd come in every day for months. She wanted a certain kind of dog, and she was very sweet, and so I felt like I did the right thing by her. Also, talk to me a little bit about what's happening now. There's a decision to be made as far as whether or not the Animal Foundation situation will be put up for bid. Talk to me about that.
So they've had the contract for the last 9.5 years, and the community's not been happy with them. The contract expires at the end of this June. And the county commissioners are going to be meeting on the 17th, and they're going to be making a motion to put the contract up for bid. So we're going to be down there supporting that. We'll be at the meeting speaking up so they know where the community stands. We are pretty confident that they're going to vote to put this contract up for bid. But that doesn't mean that we don't need your listeners we still need your listeners to send letters in to their county commissioners, to call them, to let them know that they want this contract put up for bid. And we want it to go to the Nevada Humane Society. They've proven that they know how to run a shelter. And if the contract went to them, we know thousands of animals' lives would be saved just from doing that simple thing.
Now, the Nevada Humane Society, they're the ones who run the shelter in Reno?
Correct.
Okay, so do you feel they would do a good job? Have they run a shelter the size of ours?
They take in about 11,000 animals per year. So it's not as large as Las Vegas, but what's important is their blueprint, and it'll work with any size of community. Cities as large as Austin, Texas, Jacksonville, Portland, the entire state of New Hampshire, Seattle. I already mentioned LA. So it doesn't matter whether you do this in a large city or a small city, as long as you have the game plan to put it into place, and they have that. They know how to do that.
Well, I'd like to see that happen. We're speaking with Bryce Henderson. He's the president of No Kill Las Vegas. And also, of course, the big issue has always been for me, I don't care who anybody sleeps with, gay or straight or whatever, but my problem with the Animal Foundation is that the woman who runs it is the girlfriend of the city manager, and that's a problem. I don't care if there's a straight couple, I'd be ticked off, because obviously there's a conflict of interest. So you still think that the county might put it up for bid even with that connection?
Absolutely, and that's just the city. Her connection with the city manager is the city of Las Vegas.
Right, I know, but they all have lunch, let's be honest.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And the executive director of the Animal Foundation used to work for the county, so she has a lot of friends there. So, but even with that, we still think that they're going to put it up for bid. And as you probably heard, there's a big mayoral election coming up, and we're going to force the candidates to take a stand on where they are with the Animal Foundation. If any candidate that supports continuing and renewing the contract with the Animal Foundation, we will not support financially. We will not help them out and support their candidacy or vote for them in any way.
Well, I don't blame you for that. I know that animals are a very emotional issue. Like I said, when I worked at the shelter, I was in tears every day, and I finally had to give up. I just couldn't do it. And, of course, I was working with Mary Hero, who was a monster. Don't get me started on her. Everybody knows that. And it was, I could go on forever about it, but it was a terrible thing. So I understand it's emotional. I understand it's a problem that needs a lot of work, and mainly it's about education, because there's a lot of ignorance out there, people having puppies they shouldn't be having, giving them out the back door, parking lots, that kind of stuff, and it makes me insane. But it would be better if we could certainly up the odds of animals not being put down when they wind up in the shelter.
Absolutely. And when you have a leader running your shelter, like Nevada Humane Society, they put all of these other messages out into the community about being responsible pet owners. That's all part of the program of going no kill. But if you don't have a leader there that actually cares and wants to see it happen, it's never going to happen. Okay,
one other quick question, Bryce Henderson, President No Kill Las Vegas. If the Nevada Humane Society takes over, they would have the contract to take in everything, even unadoptable animals. They would certainly have to kill a percentage.
Yes, and they do kill a percentage in Reno as well, but that percentage is 6%, not 50%.
Right. Okay, that's the difference. All right, give me the website, Bryce Henderson.
All right, well, the best place to follow us is on our famous Painting Dogs Facebook page, Go Vegas Dogs. He's got over 500,000 followers, and that's where we're always posting updates about the Animal Foundation. You can also go to our website, nklv.org, as well, though.
Okay, perfect, nklv.org. All right, Bryce Henderson, thank you for being here, and keep me updated, and we'll talk again. I'm Heidi Harris. Coming up, Governor Sandoval tries to explain